Hello, welcome to the Spiny Dogfish Shark Dissection Day, February 29th, 2016. If you missed it, I apologize. I wish you were here. Here we go. So I'm going to show you the exterior organs, the exterior features of the Spiny Dogfish shark. So we will start right here with probably the most prominent feature on every shark. You got your dorsal fin. Right there. The dorsal fin is there for steering purposes, there to kind of guide the fish, there for balance. It pretty much is the guiding factor for all sharks. Okay, and if you move back here, you have a posterior dorsal fin. Now, usually they contain spines like right along this area here that are poisonous, and what they do, they kind of inject their prey or predators to kind of stay away. So it's a pretty cool feature that this animal has. If you look back here, we have your caudal fin. Obviously, the caudal fin moves side to side, helps the shark glide through the water. If we move to the front, you have these two fins. Now, what are they for? They are the pectoral fins. The pectoral fins pushes the water up and down, helps the fish move forward, backward, side to side. Very strong features here. Another cool feature on every single fish in the animal kingdom, all fish have a lateral line. You can kind of see it right here. It's a faint line. Now what this line does, it helps detect vibrations in the water. It's a very cool part of the fish anatomy. Fish usually don't have really good eyesight, so they are relying on their lateral line to detect all the vibrations in the water. Pretty cool. If you look at the nose now, you're going to see these two little openings, these two openings right here. Now what these are called spiracles. Now what's going on here, the water is going through and then it'll filter through to the gills where the oxygen is then absorbed out of the water so they can breathe. So pretty cool. It's kind of similar to our nose. Okay. Now speaking of noses, if you look on this side here, you're going to have two little openings right here. These are called the nostrum. The nostrum help with the scent of blood in the water. They can detect any odor. So if you go swimming, you're wearing a lot of cologne, look out because they will know that you're there. Okay. If you look closely, you see these little tiny pores right there. We go. That's a good shot. That is called the ampullae of Lorenzini. What the ampullae of Lorenzini does for the shark, it detects magnetic fields and it can detect fish in distress. So let's say a fish is kind of hanging on to dear life. The sharks can detect that with this organ here, and it can pretty much tell that I can have an easy lunch without much of a challenge. So such a cool organ for every single shark to have. That's probably why they've been around for millions of years. You obviously got your mouth right there as well. You have multiple rows of teeth. I'll try to open it a little bit. You can see very razor sharp teeth there. The average spiny dogfish loses about I'd say 100,000 teeth in its lifetime. So that's kind of a cool feature there. If you look down here at the cloaca pretty much is where the shark poos, pees, and reproduces, using layman's terms there. Since these fins here, these pelvic fins, are not elongated, that can tell us right then and there that it's a female and not a male. So a male has longer fins here, and we call those claspers. Then the claspers on the male have two spines. That is used for reproductive purposes and to also protect themselves from predators. Okay, as you can see here, we have cut open the belly of the shark just so we can look at and observe the digestive system. Let's start with the largest organ of the shark, and the largest organ actually for our body as well is the liver. Now the liver here, as you can see, has two very large lobes. Now these lobes are very important for the liver because it helps break down the shark's fats, because the shark eats a lot of fish, so it needs a lot of liver, a lot of oils to break down the fat. Also, you can see how oily it is. Now that oil is not only used to break down fat, it's also used to help it float. Oil is less dense than water, therefore it creates a buoyancy effect for the shark. As you can see here, we are now looking at the shark's stomach. We don't know if it ate a meal before it died or if it's just really flat due to the packaging, but that's what it looks like. It's a J-shaped pouch similar to what you and I have. which is really, really cool. It's connected up here to the esophagus, which helps push down the food from the mouth all the way to the stomach. So I'm gonna cut it open right now, and then I'll show you what the inside looks like. We are now looking at the inside of the shark. It appears the shark died with an empty stomach. But one cool thing we can look at right here are these tiny structures, or these very tough looking structures here. That is called the rug, or the rugae. Now what that does, that helps push the food from the stomach all the way to the intestine. It also helps break down the food, and since the stomach contains a little bit of acid, it's going to help protect the inner lining of the stomach from breaking down as well. As you can see from the stomach, we're now on this structure here. That's called the duodenum. It's a connecting structure of the shark that helps push the food from the stomach all the way to the small intestine, which is here. Now, a shark's small intestine is wider than the human small intestine. This is because they eat fish pretty much whole. They swallow bones, they swallow large tails, things of that nature. So they need a larger intestine to help push out and break down the food. If you look here, that is called the spiral intestine. So right before it reaches the colon, you have these spirally shaped materials here to help push the food down, very similar to the peristalsis effect of the human's esophagus. So that's another really cool feature. Looks like it's pretty empty, but I will cut it open and show you what the fecal matter looks like. All right, so we are now looking at the spiral intestine, where it's pretty much closed from being removed out the cloaca. You can see these little spirally features. Now this is used to push the doo-doo or the fecal matter down. If you want to know what the doo-doo of a shark looks like, it's this yellowy substance right here. A little bit different than ours, obviously. You can kind of see it in there. Obviously it died with an empty stomach, so there really isn't a whole lot of matter, but you can kind of see some of it hanging out right in there. Okay, so right here you got your colon. From the colon you got your cloaca, which is essentially the anus of the shark. So it's gonna, right there is where it's gonna get rid of all of the fecal matter, as well as it's gonna urinate there. It will also reproduce there. And since we know that it's a female, that is where it gives birth. As you can see, you got the heart right there. Very small organ in comparison to the liver and the stomach, but there it is right there. Obviously it flows blood to the rest of the organs for the fish, through the gills to the brain, and it works quite a bit. Most of these spiny dogfish sharks, they can live up to 35 to 40 years. Some of them have been recorded to actually live to 100, so that means they have a really strong heart. There it is right there. All right, as you can see, you got your gill slits here. This is where the water goes through, and then the shark filters the oxygen out of the water through the gill slits. And what is happening, this is the inside of the gill. You can see how feathery of a structure that is. Now, the feathery structures help absorb that oxygen. It also helps filter any debris in the water, so it does not infect the gills of the shark. And it's obviously very, very strong material. This is because they are breathing nonstop. They are constantly in motion, and most sharks need to swim in order to breathe, and that's because they need to flow that water through the gill. And this is the spiny dogfish shark. That was our dissection, getting to compare and contrast the digestive system to this bad boy to our own. I hope you enjoyed the dissection, and this is Mr. Z saying peace out.